So now we're going to put our sump gasket on. Finally the sump gasket kit arrived. As you can see, you've got the two rubber ends and the cork on the side. And Joel's just going to take the sump cover off. That nice red sump cover. And now that this is off, we can also put our oil pickup tube in there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to rotate the crank and see if if that con rod number 4 is going to clear the oil tube and we don't hear any more knocking sounds. Okay, so we've got our new second-hand oil pickup tube in there. That's the one that was in the motor, the one that was getting hit by the con rod nut. Yeah. As you see, there, like I said, showed you before, they're different shapes. So what we'll do now is we'll put the oil pan back on here. We'll crank the motor around and by hand and just see if it, actually before we put the sump on, let's just crank it around and just observe it. So we'll set that up. So we've got our ratchet in the crank there, and we're just going to watch the crank go round. Actually, that's probably be an idea if we put our pin back in here. So we've got that pin, Joel, the safety pin. There it is there, just on the ground. Beautiful, it's locked in. So you may need a breaker bar to do this. Try it again. It's just yeah, that's okay. Because now the head's on, and so it's going to be a bit more compression. Oh, just hang on a second. Which way is this? Is upside down because we don't want to make the motor go backwards. Trying to think which way would actually go clockwise. So yeah, you're going the right way. Yep. And let's just observe down here. Too hard?
I think I took up the slack.
Yeah, that's okay. What we'll do is we'll get the breaker bar instead. So let's bring this crank around and just make sure everything clears. We don't hear any banging going on. And that's missing by a mile, so that's looking good. Okay, so we've got our surfaces nice and clean. Got all the old rubber and Celastic, whatever they had on there, that's all been removed. So we've got our, these are our cork gaskets. And by the looks of these only go on one way or the holes don't line up. So we've got our rubber gasket going at the front, which I believe goes in like that. And we'll just feed those nipples in the holes there, Joel. Make sure they all line up. So this is the gasket that's towards the which side is this? This is the this is the at the rear end of the motor, right on top of the rear main seal. So these have got these little pull tabs on the sides, and they are a real bugger to put in. So what we'll do is we'll just we'll get Joel to put that corner in through the hole on the side, and then I'll pull it through with pliers on the other side. The main piece, this one here is the main one. Yeah. Then we'll get the others in after. Through the side there. Right, if you just now move your index finger, grab it with pliers. Pull that through, that stay. Just push it a bit more. I haven't got it all the way. With that hand, can you just hold the camera like this? Point it there, that's it. Try that. Okay, that's in there. Right, that's it. Pull it through. So you can actually pull them quite tight. They won't snap. I wouldn't go too nuts, but. And just over here. Again, where the rubber meets the cork. Okay. Alright, so now we're just going to put some RTV just in the corners, just where the rubber meets the cork. On the side. There. See there. Okay, so we've got our oil tube Loctited in place. We've got our black RTV in the corners. All the gaskets are in place. We're about to stick the sump on. Nice and careful. Holes are all lining up.
Yep.
Beautiful. Now, when we pulled these rubber gaskets through with the pull tabs, I was just using pliers, and you can actually feel them like kind of click through. So yeah, they take a fair bit of force, but they get there. All right, now we can just run our bolts in. So the sump's on. Just getting it all nipped up. Our gaskets have gone on nicely. Just check that front one. Looks good. Okay, now we can put our rocker cover gasket on. Which only goes on one way again. All the holes line up on that side.
Yeah.
That's good. And our nice rocker cover. Okay, just going to make sure all the bolt holes come through. So now we put some goo for our water pump gasket. That's it, all the way around. I reckon we've got just enough. I'll squeeze the bottom part.
I think so now.
Is it? Okay. Now we whack our water pump gasket on. Hopefully it'll stay there somewhat. Just line up those holes. Push it against there. As long as it stays up. And then grab the water pump. And I just dropped the bolt. You got it there?
Where'd it come from?
What's that?
Where'd it come from?
The bolt? Is that the bolt? Okay, so don't put it in the wide parts. Put it in one of these narrow parts. So as this goes on like this, just hold that. Yeah. So go on like that, and then just chuck your bolt in one of the skinny parts. That's it. All right, you got the whole pump?
Yep.
And I'll go and get you another bolt. And your next bolt. So we've just made our fuel pump gasket. There's our template there. So we'll just cut that out. A bit on the inside we'll do with a razor. Beautiful. Now we'll cut the inside. Just don't cut your fingers because I don't have insurance.
I can sue you. It's a good way to get a payday.
Hey?
That's a good way to get a payday.
Yeah.
Huh.
Come through.
No.
So we have made our fuel pump gasket. And we're just going to put some gasket glue on.
Gasket glue.
Only a very, very small amount, and just make sure it doesn't go in the threads or on this part, just on the outsides.
That's right.
So now we've got some gasket glue in there, we'll put our gasket on. You want me to hold the glue? Again. Sockets. So that is it. The engine is completely assembled. Everything's on it. That's pretty much it. So all we're going to do now is we've got to find top dead center. So we're just going to crank the motor around, and Joel's going to stick his finger in the socket there and just feel for some air pressure. Okay, so now we're looking for the intake stroke top dead center. You can see the white marks coming up there. Joel's got his finger in the socket.
There you go.
Should start to feel pressure.
Yep.
Still feeling the pressure?
Yep.
Still feeling it?
Yep.
Still feeling it? Don't take your finger out. Come on. Still feeling it?
Yeah, still blowing.
Okay. And if we bring the camera in this side, so just over here, I was looking for, where's that torch gone? Over here. I was looking for timing marks somewhere on the timing cover. I couldn't see any, but there is this little tab that's sticking out there, if you can see that. This right here. I couldn't see any numbers on it, but I can just see some lines on it. There are 3 lines. Maybe it's worn away, I'm not sure. But anyway, I think that's lined up with top dead center, somewhere around there. So we've now got it on the intake stroke of top dead center. So that's going to help when we do the rocker arm adjustments. Okay, so first we're going to prime up the oil filter. Just be careful it doesn't overflow from the top. Just check that. You see the level at all? So we're still way down. Yep, still got more to go.
Yeah, still blowing.
Z9 filter, same as a Falcon. Where are we at? Is it coming up?
Yeah, it's nearly at the top.
Yeah, give it a little bit more. That's probably fine, but a little bit more. Bit more. Alright. Looking good. Let's get some oil on my finger. Just make this seal. Okay, does that look alright? Level wise? Yeah, that's pretty good. So let's screw that on. You want to put it on? Just go underneath there. Just keep going, do it up nice and firm. And then we'll have to get our claw on it and just give it an extra little tighten. Go as tight as you can by hand. All good?
Yep.
Alrighty, so now we're just going to fill it up with oil and leave it overnight just to make sure there's no leaks or anything. So I think these things take 4 litres. So just don't pour all of that in. We can always drain the excess, but And what we don't want to see is any oil under this engine. How far are you down to there? I'll probably go just a little bit more than stop. Yeah, that's fine. So the engine's over the test frame here, and I'm still in assemble mode. I'm still trying to work out how this is all going to go. I'm really not 100% sure yet, even though I planned it before I put all the steel together. But because it's a slant 6, it just makes everything awkward. It's it's not your evenly keeled motor like that thing over there, which will just sit on nice and central. Engine mounts are even on both sides, but it's not the case on the slant 6. As you can see with the mounts on, you've got one that points straight down, and over the other side it goes out that way, and that's because it's not, at the moment, it's not in its natural leaning over position. So I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to mount these points right here. I've got an idea. I've mounted the back, so I've made it so that it sits pretty well straight like a normal engine. So I've got this cross member. It's actually bolted to the back of the bell housing. It's not bolted down to this frame yet. I've just spent some time getting it central, right in the middle. So this will be easy enough. I'll just bolt down the back. Now I've just got to work out what I'm going to do with these mounts. Whether I put a short beam coming this way and under the mount here and then just bolt it up that way. And I'll show you the other side. And this is what the mount looks like on this side. So here's the test frame. It's pretty much done. I still want to tweak around on a few things with it. It's basically these feet. They're I've got them mounted. I've had to cut a hole through the side of the post here so I can get a socket in there and do the engine mount. And it's basically the bolt just going straight into the side of the block. It's not actually on the rubber mount on this side because of the position that it's in. It's so close to the oil or the oil lines there that I couldn't turn the post around the other way. I was thinking I'll turn it around this way, then I'll put a rubber block between engine block and this post. But anyway, it's like that for now. The only thing is it's just standing straight on the ground, literally on its own on its own weight. I want to tie it to this rail here because this rail is secure, so I might do that later. Same with the other side. This one here is going directly on the mount, and I've had to do the same. I've had to cut a window through here so I can get the socket in there and do it up. And again, it's just resting on its own weight, so I think I'll secure these to these rails. But in all honesty, I don't even think I really needed these legs because the front is literally resting on this rail and the back is bolted down through here. This smaller section here, which is bolted to this rail, and I think just that line, that's not going anywhere. I mean, it's secured to the bell housing. There's no way that's coming off, but I just want to make sure. So yeah, it's pretty much there. So now I'll just focus on getting the manifolds on now and putting it all together for a crank over. So I've got the manifolds on, extractors are on, brand new manifold gasket. You can see that in there. That's in place. I'm just trying to put the bottom washers and nuts on from the bottom studs. I don't know if you can see that through there, but they are very difficult to get to. There's just hardly any room because it's got extractors. If it had a standard exhaust manifold, it would be coming out here along with the inlet manifold, but it takes a different direction, which kind of obscures those studs, so I've got to muck around trying to get them on. Then we've just got to bolt our carby on, and then that's pretty much it. Then she's ready for a test crank to start with, and then we'll do a test fire. Now I had this gasket come out of the gasket kit, the VRS kit as well, and I'm really not sure what it is. I think it's for a carby. I mean, these two holes here line up. You see the big hole on the other side doesn't line up with anything, so maybe it's for a different type of carby. I'm not sure. That's why I've had to make my own. And the other gasket was this one here. Clearly it's for exhaust, but again, I really don't know where this goes. Everything's bolted together there beautifully. Got the new gasket on there, manifold gasket. So they're two mystery gaskets. I guess if I find where I need them later, they'll show up at certain points, but yeah, don't recall taking anything like that off. Alright, now just snugging this carby down. It's got its new gasket under it. In there. So now I'm ready to crank this thing over. So before it actually fires up and runs on fuel and that sort of thing, I've taken all the plugs out because I do want to do a compression check on each one. It's going to be a little bit difficult on my own. Might have to wait for help for that. But just for now, before I worry about hooking up the alternator properly, I've just got my battery rigged up here. So I've got the positive terminal going to the starter, to the positive on the battery. I'm earthing it out on the test frame, which would be earthing it out on the chassis. And here's my starter wire. So here we go. Should just turn over there because there's no spark plugs or anything. Let's have a look. Well, that's good. Okay, so I'm just fitting up the cooling system for it, and as you can see, I'm having to get a little inventive here so I can work out what the system is. Now the problem is that the motor is not sitting in its natural position. I've got it almost upright, but slant 6 obviously it's being slant over this way, so that air cleaner will be level up here. Which means that if I were to hook the radiator up properly with its original hoses, as this engine sits in the frame right now, the radiator will have to be at an angle like this. And obviously that's probably not going to be real good, so I happen to have an AU XR8 top radiator hose lying around, so that seems to fit in nicely to the top of the radiator, and that's the original AP6 lower radiator hose. So I've just got to work out a way to fix this thing in position. It's just sitting on jack stands at the moment, but this is about the height I need. And it's quite possible I could leave it like this. I really don't think it's going to move around a whole lot. Of course the fan's in the wrong position, but I might actually get one of those fans over there and just blow it in this way into the radiator just to help keep everything cool. The other problem, of course, is I've got to zip tie this hose and keep it off the belt. Now this is actually a problem that I've had even when this was in the car, mounted up properly. I put a brand new lower radiator hose on it, and the belt started cutting into it. So yeah, maybe I didn't position it correctly. I've got to find out a way to fix it properly, but just for now, I'll get a zip tie around there and maybe run it through the back of the coil there just to keep it out of the way. So I've had to rethink on how I'm going to rig up the radiator, and I've just decided to put this frame here that I've had for years. So I would rest panels across it, or just stuff for spray painting. I'd hang it from here, but it's come in handy. So it's very secure. It's not going anywhere. It's clamped on a rail to the main frame. So I'll probably make a system like this. It's a bit more permanent, but this will do for now. And it looks like my hose just clears the belt. So I hope it stays that way. But now let's top it up with water and see what happens. See if there's any leaks anywhere. Try and do this one handle without making a mess. This is just tap water because it's going to be drained again anyway. And we do have a leak. Whoops! Someone forgot to turn the tap off. That'd be me. Alright, so now I've closed the valve. That helps. Let's keep going. I've got a bit of mopping up to do now. Don't seem to be any more leaks. Just wish I hadn't wet the floor because I wanted to see if there were any leaks. That would be an indicator the floor got wet. Now it's very wet. It's just about to the top, so I might just fill that up a little bit more. Now I've got these in the VRS kit as well. At first I wasn't really sure what they were for, but now I realise they're for the cups that the spark plugs go through. So may as well put new ones of them on. There we go, we've got our nice new seals in these cups. These did, they feel a little bit stiffer compared to what I've just put on, so anyway. Let's put them in. Now, just thought I'd show you this. Now, this is with the Slant 6 with extractors. It is impossible to get that starter motor out without removing the extractors. You've got just enough room to get back to here because I tried to get it out. I wanted to test the starter motor on the ground before I put it back in there, and I couldn't even get it out. So you know, you have to take the manifolds off and just push them back to get it out. But I thought, what a pain. But that's, you know, slight issue. If you had to change your starter motor only, and if it was in the car, that'd be a bit of a pain. So I'm having issues now. As you can see, I've got that starter motor partly removed because even though it was cranking over before, as you can see, it's not doing anything now. Now if I hit the solenoid with a hammer, got to do it several times, sparks fly out the back of the solenoid, and it turns over eventually, but then it stops working again. So it's obviously an issue. So you probably saw me mention earlier that you can't get these starter motors out when you've got extractors in the way like this, and you can see there's just no room to get it back. So what I thought I'd do is just take the solenoid off. I've undone the screws already. I think this is the problem anyway, and hopefully now I can get it out. There we go. So there's a little trick if you ever have to take a starter motor out of one of these 225s if you've got extractors on it. That's going to be the easiest way to do it. Just take the solenoid off, and then you can get the whole thing out without having to undo all of that, which I really didn't want to do. So this is it. I've got that starter motor back on. As you can see, I've had to beat it up pretty bad to get the solenoid working. It works 5 out of, or maybe 6 out of 10 times, so I'm going to have to do something there. It's all hooked back up. We've got our fuel system rigged over there. I've just squirted some fuel in the carby, so this is its first fire up. Here we go. Alright, that's a fizzer. Okay, we've had issues with our starter motor again. Right, let's take the ballast resistor off, just give it more power. And we're not getting anything from the starter. Alright, pause that. Alright, I'm going to try again.
I want to get it.
Hey?
I want to get it.
This is not tomato sauce. It's a bit of sauce. Alright.
Yeah.
Right, here we go. Okay, we're getting fuel. That's it. It's coming out of the jets now. That's good. Here we go.
Do you know what just me?
Still there. The oil's just come out of those fittings, so they're not down tight enough. So we'll have to fix them up. Good news is, it runs.
We rebuilt the engine.
Yeah. Just going to fix that up. So this is the beauty about having an engine stand like this, so you can fix the sort of stuff outside the car. Alright, let me fix that up. Alright, so I've retightened these fittings. This one here actually went round about another 3 turns. And I've got this one a bit tighter, so we're going to try it again. Now you can see down here, if I pump the carby, we've got fuel coming out of there, that's nice. Coming from that fuel tank there. Alright, here you go Sam, cameraman. You ready to go Joel? Let's hook everything back up again. If I can have the ballast resistor. I'm surprised it started with the ballast resistor going straight away. Alright, we're looking for any more leaks down here. I'm going to come a bit closer, Sam. Make sure that line there. Let me just get, maybe just come around this side. Yeah. Right, here we go. You ready, Joel? Yeah. That's coming out of the top center one? Yep. That one. Oh, that was tight already. I remember when we had to get these off, we had to use a blowtorch and heat up those nuts to get them off. So I guess that was super tight. Ah. Let's try that again. If it does it again this time, I might have to take all that off and put some thread tape, even though I don't know if they're supposed to have thread tape on them. Let's clean that up. Yeah, I did. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have, I'm not sure. But anyway, I'll re-tighten it again. Right, earth. Power. Ballast resistor. Here we go. Still leaking. But the good news is, it runs. This part's not good. Oh, you can't let me tighter than that. Right, let's go again. Still an issue. Now, I guess the next thing is, because I don't think I can get that any tighter, probably have to undo that line now and figure out what's going on there. See if we get another turn. Seems to be coming up from the inside part, not the outside. Right, last go. Okay. Alright, well, that's the next thing we're going to have to contend with now. But the good news is it runs, and it runs beautifully. We've got the firing order correct. It's probably just have to time it still. But we've got to fix this problem. Okay, we know it runs. It's got an oil pressure problem, or oil leak problem. We're going to hear this thing run without exhaust. Just for the hell of it. There we go. Look it up again. It's going to make a mess. Positive. Last. Right, one last time.